In this video, we're going to review 5 common dental website mistakes that might be costing you patients. And to illustrate this, we'll use a local dental practice in my area as an example. By the end of this video, you'll see how these mistakes hurt user experience and how simple changes can actually boost your site's performance and conversions. Before we dive in, my name is Brad Pouncey, and at Pouncey Pro, we specialize in building websites that don't just look great, but also help businesses convert visitors into clients. Today, I'll be reviewing the website for Carolina Orthodontics and Children's Dentistry. This is a large practice in the Raleigh-Durham area with multiple locations, over 1,200 glowing reviews, and a 4.94 star rating on Google. But despite their success, I came across 5 big problems on their website that could be turning potential patients away. So stick around as we dive into each of these issues, and by the end of the video, you'll have a clear idea of how to fix these mistakes on your website. So let's dive in. We'll start with the first mistake I saw when landing on their homepage, and that's a cluttered navigation. As soon as you land on their site, you're immediately hit with a list of all 7 of their locations, a really crowded nav bar with each of these menu items having just a big drop down of several pages, and even some of these have more pages inside of them. So it's really overwhelming, especially for a first-time visitor. And there's so many options that you've got right off the bat that it makes it difficult to really know where to start. And this is a common problem that I see with a lot of dental practices. They try and include everything all at once, but it really kind of just ends up hurting you in the end. A cluttered navigation coupled with the next issue actually immediately gives users analysis paralysis. They just don't know what to do. There's just too many things going on. So we'll look to see how we can simplify this navigation and make it a little bit more user-friendly in just a second. Moving on to the second issue, which is an overwhelming hero section. This is the part of the website that sits right at the top of the homepage and is the first thing that a user sees as soon as they load the page. So you really want to take advantage of that screen real estate. And for Carolina Orthodontics, you could say that they are trying to take advantage of the hero section, but to a user, this is really just a big cluttered block of text. It's really difficult to read in some places with the contrast from the background and the text. And the problem here is that it's just so much text that it's difficult to even kind of see what this, special is. It's very forgettable. It kind of blends into the background and it doesn't pop out. It doesn't guide the eye to exactly where, you're wanting people to see. So the big thing here too is this is actually an image. This is not text, so it doesn't resize on mobile. So if you think when you're on your phone, this gets to be a really, really small image, making it even more difficult to read. And kind of the worst thing about this is it's the same hero section on every single page. So if we go to, another page here, you kind of don't even realize, aside from that little glitch, that anything really loads because it's the same exact hero section. Everything above the fold, everything that you see without having to scroll is the exact same. So that's something that we're really going to want to dive into as well. Just from a user experience standpoint, so that somebody doesn't think that the site's broken for some reason. So we'll take a look at see how to clean that up and make it a little bit more impactful here in a few minutes. The third mistake is one that I definitely think could be hurting conversions, and that's a lack of a clear call to action. I'll give them some points for having the phone number up here. It is clickable. You can see that you can click that to call, which is nice. You want to make sure that the phone number is clickable and you don't have somebody trying to type in the phone number. Just makes things easier, reduces some friction there. But it really just kind of gets lost in the text. As soon as this loads, especially on mobile, you got to think on mobile, all of these locations scrunch down to where they take up a big block of text, and it just makes it difficult to see and just overwhelming on the page load. And then below the new patient special image, we have these 5 boxes with really weak calls to action of just more. Even learn more is not the best call to action. You want to see things like, schedule an appointment, view our services, things like that. So really just off the bat, as the page loads, users are met with probably 10 to 15 options of things they can do, look at, get distracted by, and ultimately might just leave for a competitor or go find somebody else that isn't, so confusing or overwhelming out the gate. And the fourth mistake that I see as we scroll down here is just too much text. There's already a lot of, pages. We're not going to dive into all of these pages and stuff, but we just look at the homepage. It's a lot of text. I've definitely seen more text on a homepage as far as a big block of text, but even this is a lot to ask someone to read through. We want to have things that are easy, digestible. This is a common SEO misconception that I see. A lot of local businesses, like dental practices, think that they need, separate pages for every single tiny service that they have, tons of paragraphs of content on those pages with thousands of words in order to rank well on Google. And the problem is this can really overwhelm visitors and make it hard to find the most important information that you actually want people to see. Ranking on Google is actually a lot more about creating quality content that matches the intent of the searcher instead of just word vomiting and keyword stuffing on a page. And so we'll walk through kind of how we can take, all of this, big blocks of text and everything and make it a more user-friendly and engaging page in just a second here. And then finally, mistake number 5 as we're scrolling down here is there's just too much practice-centered messaging. There's a lot of text on the homepage already, specifically about the practice, about the team, about the office culture. This information is very valuable, so don't hear what I'm not saying. This is important stuff. We want people to see you and learn about you and all those kind of things, but the homepage is not always the place to dive in to all the backgrounds, board certifications, all that kind of stuff. It's really meant to be about the patient, their needs, what they're looking for, and how you can help them. So they want to know how you can help them before anything else. So we're going to dive into how we can kind of shift this messaging and focus more on the patient's needs in just a bit here, while still introducing your practice, still letting them get to know you at the same time. And by the way, if you'd like me to take a look at your website, just like this, I'd be happy to drop a link to it down in the comments. I'll make sure to get back to everybody down in the comments. And if you're interested actually in having us build a website just like this for you, you can head over to pounceypro.com and click on book a discovery call. We'd be happy to get on the phone with you and talk about if we'd be a good fit for your website redesign. All right, now that we've identified those 5 major mistakes, let's head over and see how we might go about fixing them here. And let's start up here with the navigation. So to solve the issue of that clutter navigation, we removed the big list of locations and instead inserted a link that could either go to a locations page or scroll down to the locations section of the homepage. We also inserted a little bit of social proof as well. And I feel like this is something that a lot of practices overlook. We call these trust signals. So anytime that you can show 5 stars or incorporate badges or certifications, things like that, it can instantly build credibility and social proof without taking up a lot of real estate on the page. This doesn't take up a lot of space, but already out the gate, you can see, wow, 4.9 star rating, over 1,250 reviews. These people know what they're doing. They provide a great experience. Let's learn more. Let's stay on this page. I'm already starting to trust them. We'll get to how to handle reviews here in just a second, but I want to mention that while we're there. Next, we simplified the navigation menu down to just the key links of our services, our team, about, and now users can quickly find what they're looking for without feeling lost or overwhelmed by so many choices out the gate. Moving on to the rest of the hero section here, we stripped out all of that unnecessary text and replaced it with a clean, bold headline that speaks directly to the patient's desires. So a healthy, beautiful smiles start here. Every parent wants their child to have a healthy, beautiful smile. So right out the gate, we're letting them know that they are in the right place. With this bold headline and plenty of white space around it, it allows our eyes to just go right there. If we look back here at the homepage before, just text everywhere. It's all, similar sizes, not a lot of color contrast, anything like that. You land on this, boom, we know exactly what's going on. Top-rated orthodontist and pediatric dentist, healthy, beautiful smiles start here. There's a calming kind of effect to it versus when you look at this and it's just, oh my gosh, there's so much information. So now that we have a visual hierarchy that shows what information is most important and has a flow of information that guides those users exactly where they should look. We also added a clear, clickable call to action, just a strong schedule an appointment, and then a kind of secondary call to action that new patient offers. So it's not taking up a whole lot of real estate, like it is here, but it doesn't lose an importance either because they can scroll down, they see it right there, they can click, scroll to it, claim that offer. And this just gives visitors an immediate next step. And by focusing the messaging is much more likely to grab their attention. And then lastly here, we added a video to the hero section. We actually found that Carolina Orthodontics has multiple videos hidden deeper on their pages that really needed to be brought up to the surface so that we didn't have to hunt for them. They have a lot of great content, but just don't bury it. It should be front and center, to kind of add that personality. It's a great way to show culture, personality, the patient experience, without bombarding users with a big block of text or anything. So, and video is actually also drastically shown to improve Google rankings as well, because when someone clicks on a video and watches a video, it increases the time on the page. Google sees that. They think, oh, this information is really valuable, so let's rank it higher. So it's a great way all around for also user experience and Google search as well. Speaking of CTAs, you'll also notice that there are call to action buttons everywhere now as we scroll down, and there's a hierarchy to them as well, right? They're not all the same color, they're not all the same style, because each has a different level of importance And, the most important one, obviously, is the schedule appointment. That's the primary action that we want people to take. So it's the biggest, it's the brightest. And then anything else below that, we want to kind of have, it's there, but it kind of fades into the background because we want people to schedule an appointment when they, come on our website. And then when it comes to content, obviously less is more. As we scroll through, we cut down on the excessive text and the big blocks of text, ensuring that each page only includes the most relevant information. This keeps the website clean, it's organized, it's easy to navigate while still being SEO friendly. So from a design perspective, you'll see that, again, there's a hierarchy to things, and it's not all 12-point font. There's headlines, there's subheadlines, there's body copy, there's varying weights and sizes, there's, engaging clickable elements, interactive elements. All of this helps with guiding the user's eye and helps even a lot of information feel a lot more digestible and scannable. And then finally, we switched to having the messaging focus more on the patient. Instead of leading with the practice's history and the provider's credentials, we started by addressing the patient's needs, whether it's the orthodontics care, the children's dentistry, or a special service. By positioning the benefits to the patient first, it makes the website much more compelling and engaging. It's no longer me, and it's much more, we understand that dental care can be overwhelming. This is how we can help. We're here for you, things like that. And then just the last couple of little bonus things, we added this, section of verified Google reviews. And they've got over 1,200. I'm not saying put all 1,200 on the website, but you've got a lot of great, people out there, singing your praises. Add that stuff to the homepage, put the 5 stars, put a little Google logo, show that it's, it's verified, maybe even provide a link to the Google review page just so that, they're legit. This is how many people, have had a great experience with this, things like that. It's all building credibility, building trust, everything adds up. Then we cleaned up the location section as well. If we go back to the main homepage, this is all their locations. It's great that you can see it on a map and everything, but again, it's just, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of, from the address being on here twice to all the different things on the maps themselves. It's just a lot going on versus here's all of our locations. They can click on the address to be able to be taken to, get directions, things like that. And it just kind of, again, just simplifies things, clears out the clutter, directs the eye exactly where you want them to go. And then instead of having a, big cluttered navigation, I like to do a junk drawer, some people call it, and that's in your footer. So in the footer is where all those wonderful links to all the service pages and the new patient forms and all that kind of stuff, goes to be able to keep this nice and clean. There's still probably a place here to be able to put like a new patient button to maybe a landing page that they can go to get all their new forms, things like that. But being able to keep the nav clean and have everything kind of be still very organized in the footer, but put all that stuff in the footer. It doesn't need to go there. It's distracting. It is overwhelming. And it just is a lot for people to look at. So those are the 5 common mistakes I found on Carolina Orthodontics and Children's Dentistry's website and the steps that we would take to fix them. If you think that your site might be making some of these mistakes as well, definitely leave a link to it down in the comments below. I'd be happy to give you some feedback and some ways to maybe make some improvements. If you're interested in working together, definitely go to PounceLeapPro.com and schedule that discovery call. Thanks again for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.